Next up, let's clear up gay culture. Was Alexander the Great gay? Here's the real history on the Great Conqueror. Netflix's recent documentary, Alexander, The Making of a God, has ignited debates over the portrayal of Alexander the Great's sexuality. In a bold move, the show depicts Alexander, played by Buck Braithwaite, engaging in an intimate act with his friend Hephaestion, sparking controversy among viewers who feel the narrative distorts history. However, exploring the accuracy of these claims requires navigating through layers of historical interpretation and societal context. The controversy surrounding Alexander's sexuality isn't new. Director Oliver Stone's 2004 film, Alexander, also portrayed him as homosexual, prompting similar divisions. Yet, understanding Alexander's sexuality is complicated by the vast differences in historical context from today and the past. Ancient Greeks, for example, viewed sexuality through a lens of active and passive roles, rather than modern categories like gay or straight. Individuals who presumed passive roles were perceived as feminine, while those who took on active roles were considered masculine. The documentary presents Hephaestion and Bagoas as potential romantic interests for Alexander. The grief Alexander expresses at Hephaestion's death has led some historians to speculate about their relationship. Similarly, references to Alexander's interactions with Bagoas are interpreted by some as evidence of a romantic connection. Historians like W. Tarn reject claims of Alexander's homosexuality, while others, like Mary Renault, argue for it, reflecting the diversity of perspectives within historical scholarship. Despite the lack of definitive evidence, debates persist, highlighting the complexities of historical interpretation and the challenges of understanding ancient figures' personal lives. I feel that there's a lot of attention that goes towards understanding these ancient figures and what they were doing in bed, but there's a lot of queer people, from recent history who we know were queer, who are still being, kind of hidden in the shadows. And so I guess my question to you all is, what is the importance in your mind of exploring someone like Alexander the Great and his sexuality? Is there an importance to understanding that for today?
Well, for me, it would have been great for me if it was Alexander the Gay. I think that would have changed my life a little bit. I think it would have changed the trajectory of all of our lives if it was kind of known definitively that he was gay. Sure, there are people for sure that we need to pay attention to that aren't given their flowers, that are struggling, even, and I say the simplest, but even for being gay in this state of the world where it seems like it's easier to be, but really it's not. We're still kind of struggling with the same things that we've been struggling with for hundreds of years. Do I think it would have been easier for us if, our ancestors were gay? Yeah, sure. So if Alexander the Gay was Alexander the Gay, I think I would have been relieved.
Now, Dr. Hauser, you have feelings about this.
Well, so to answer the question directly and then to kind of go off and be a Dr. Hauser about it, I agree that we need to have a wide variety and plethora of experiences that are being shared and told. And so certainly, we need to spend time on modern stories as well as on ancient stories, because the ancient stories are what give our history a validity and what give our history strength, in the same way that the kind of dominant narrative of the straight white man has been the dominant narrative for so long. To add this story is to add a bit of dominance that Alexander probably enjoyed, add a bit of dominance to that narrative as well. But in terms of Alexander the Great, so one of the things that I love, and I haven't started the series yet because I didn't realize it was a docudrama, and I wasn't in a state to engage with it as a docudrama when I started it. Okay. So I'm going to start it as soon as I have a chance. But so they have experts and they have authorities on this that are talking about this. The only reason why you would argue that he wasn't gay is because the Greeks didn't have a word for homosexual sex. It was just sex. The passive role was always the younger kid, and the active role was always the adult male, because the relationship was the man was there to take care of the boy. And more often than not, he was a fairly young boy. It's something that we wouldn't allow to happen today. But they didn't see anything wrong with it. It was expected, and it was also expected to stop at a certain time. It wasn't expected to be something that went on forever, although lifelong friendships and relationships did happen and grew. So it was a much different part of their culture, and for us to impose our cultural ignorance on an ancient time shows our lack of ability to understand both language and history. So I saw a post today. It was some conservative site said, oh, within the first 8 minutes, they made him gay. Well, no, not within the first 8 minutes, they made him gay. He was gay. We just talked about it in the first 8 minutes of the show. Whether or not you use the word gay, there was a homosexual experience happening in his life, as it was in the life of most Greeks.
Well, perpetuating historical inaccuracies is an American specialty.
That's true. Well, that's absolutely true.
We, yeah, it really is. Almost 20 years ago now, when Oliver Stone's film came out and people talked about it, and I was like, okay, but I think it's more important that they do discuss it today than back then, because we are literally trying to be erased. There are legislatures from coast to coast that are trying to erase us. So yes, I agree. We do need to tell the stories of our contemporary LGBTQ plus brethren. But as long as Netflix is gonna make this, and let's be honest, it's probably queer baiting drama, and they're loving this this debate. But as long as they're gonna make it, let's make it historically accurate. And I believe that on an archaeological dig, they found a bottle of Uber Lube. So I think that pretty much settles the debate right.
How did I know you were going to say that? I hope they make it hot. All right.